Jays fans, spring training is in full swing down in Dunedin for the Toronto Blue Jays. And look, I think we're at the point already, right? We're a week into spring training. We already want this thing freaking over with, don't we? We already want to get to, what is it, March 27th, isn't it? Against the Baltimore Orioles at Rogers Center at 3:07. We already want that thing to start. But yeah, we're here. As you guys know, for our weekly recapping the spring training games for the Toronto Blue Jays. We're not going to go diving into the deep stats of what we saw and all that. So, no. We're not going to be doing that because who the hell cares about spring training baseball? As Blair and Barker always say, nothing good happens in the spring. If you're hitting 500, does it mean anything? No, really. Because you can go first week of the season, go 0 for 10, and that 500 in the spring is long gone. The only thing that happens, that can happen in the spring, is people get hurt. And that's what you don't want to see. Nothing good happens. So we're just here to get through it, all right? But we do have storylines that we do want to talk about, all right? So let's start with one of the biggest things going into the spring training. And that is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. No contract. Doesn't seem like they were close to the contract. Ross Atkins is his favorite thing and not really give you a real answer when he says, well, what is close? Okay, well, enough of that, Ross. And Vladdy himself says, were they close? No. Great. Then we hear the 585 number come out from David Ortiz, and we're like, oh boy, this is going to get ugly fast. And now I've got to watch this team and try and cheer for all these guys. This is a disaster. Well, it helps when you win your first game against the New York Yankees in spring training. It's spring training, who cares? But Bichette with a couple big hits, or not big hits, a couple hits in the game. Vladdy drives in a run in the first inning. Alejandro Kirk had a couple hits, and he's been hitting the ball really hard so far in the spring, which is what his calling card was when he came up to the big leagues. He's not going to strike out a lot, and he's going to hit a ton of line drives. He's going to hit the ball hard. And he's done that so far this spring. So you like what you saw there. They beat the Yankees 6-4 in Game 1. Good to see. They beat the Red Sox 8-7 in a really wild one. In the second game, they score 6 runs in the 9th inning to take the lead, and you're feeling great about things. But then you give up 2 in the 9th, right? Making it a 1-run game, but you win that game 8-7. And any key storylines from that game, the big one is Alan Roden. If you haven't checked already, go to the Blue Jays Center Instagram page where I, last season, had the chance to go to Buffalo and had a chance to be on the field with Alan Roden, had a chat with him pre-game. And it was a lot of fun, very exciting stuff for myself. First time I've ever done that, so that was pretty cool stuff. But he had a couple doubles in that game and made a great diving catch in left field, so... am I a little soft spot for Alan Roden? Yeah, probably. But he is obviously one of the top prospects. I think Mark and Ross, or in particular Ross Atkins, said that he's one of the favorite prospects in the organization. And then he goes out there in his first spring training game and he does that. So he had a really good year down there at AAA last season. Really trying to turn some heads this year. And in his first game, definitely did that with a couple doubles. Let me try and see if there's anything else that jumps out from that game. Yariel got the start. Wasn't great. Jake Bloss, who has not had a good spring so far. Again, I'm not going to dwell on it. It's spring training. But the way he ended last year with the Bisons, the way he started this spring, hasn't been great. So I'm going to keep an eye on. The third game got canceled. It was supposed to be against the Detroit Tigers. They did not play that game. And they played the Cardinals, and they won 3. You know what? Let me quickly go back to that Yankees game. Who got that start? It was Barrios, wasn't it? Oh, no, Easton Lucas. Yeah, whatever. Mason Flaherty, clean inning of work. He might be an interesting lefty down there in Buffalo, considering obviously no Tim Meza, and Brandon Little is really the only guy that you have confidence in lefty-wise out of the bullpen. Don't be surprised if you see Mason Flaherty at some point this year. So interesting stuff there, and obviously Relvis Martinez went deep. So that's something to keep an eye on moving forward, because that's kind of spurred some conversations about Relvis possibly DHing this year. So we'll see. We'll see. As I mentioned, they won 3-2 against the Cardinals. And who got that start? The most anticipated one of all, Max Scherzer. He went 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, got an earned run allowed, 4 punch-outs, didn't walk anybody. Just a nice start to his Blue Jays tenure for Max Scherzer. Bowden France went 2 innings, allowed 1 hit and 1 run as well. He allowed the solo home run, but nothing more. Chad Green, Jimmy Garcia, all had clean innings. You like what you saw there. Anything that jumped out? Stuart Baroa, Ernie Clement, couple hits. Andres Jimenez had a couple hits in the game. He might be an interesting one. You know, we all talk about Anthony Santander being a Blue Jay and you know, the bounce back season from Bo and Vladdy going into Milwaukee, or he's going to want to perform to the craziness. George Springer can't be one of the worst qualified hitters in baseball again, right? And then we forget that Andres Gimenez came over and, got some upside. So we'll see, but he had a couple hits in that game against the Cardinals where the Blue Jays did win at 3-2. And at this point, they're 3-0. Good vibes all around. Who cares? Spring training. Then they lose 9-6 to the Philadelphia Phillies. Jacob Barnes, second stint as a Blue Jay, pitched in that game. He didn't do great. Jose Barrios got the start. Wasn't bad. 2 2/3. Allowed a couple hits. Got a couple strikeouts. 1 run. Home run. Solo shot. Nothing crazy. Nothing really jumped out in a good way, at least pitching-wise. Offensively, Bo had another hit. He's had a good spring. He's had a good spring. I want to talk about what he did today as well. Just something that I was keeping an eye on in today's game. They lost that 9-6. Then they lost 11-8 to the Orioles. Obviously, when you lose 11-8, pitching ain't great. Easton Lucas, no good. Andrew Bash, no good. This guy is interesting, though. Braden Fisher. I don't know who the hell this guy is, but he's been pitching. He had 2 outings so far in the spring. It's been 3 scoreless innings, and he has 6 punch-outs. Something to keep an eye on, though. Throughout the spring. Offensively, what'd you get in this game? Right. Charles McAdoo. He was the 1-for-1 acquired last year at the deadline for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He had a 3-run shot. That was kind of the calling card coming over, that this guy can mash. And 1-for-2, 3-run shot for McAdoo. So you like what you saw there. Aurelvis Martinez had another hit, drove in 2 runs, scored a run. Again, just continuing to make his case to make the opening day roster. And that's about that. You lose 11-8. So at this point, you're 3-2. It's kind of died down a bit. They have a split squad game against the Tigers and against the Yankees on Friday, where the Jays win 10-7 over the Detroit Tigers. Yariel Rodriguez got the start. Chris Bassett got the start. Went 2 2/3, 1 hit, struck out 4. Looked really good in his debut. Yariel didn't look great. Inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, 4 runs, all of earned, and he allowed a home run. Not great. Jeff Hoffman in his first outing as a Blue Jay, clean inning and a punch out. So good stuff from Jeff there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. went 3 for 3 with a home run, 3 runs scored. He looked great. Dalton Varsho in his first spring training AB. Again, I didn't even know if Dalton would get any spring training games, and it would just be a while for him to come back. In his first at-bat, he went deep in the first week of spring training. So you like what you're seeing from his progression. So good stuff from him. 1 for 3, a couple RBIs, obviously on the home run. Springer went 1 for 2 with a couple RBIs and a run scored. Again, positive sign all around. I said I wouldn't rip through the stats, but here we are. That's really all spring training is, I guess. Yeah, I mean, what can I sit here and talk about for 10 freaking minutes? But yeah, Vlad had a good day. 3 for 3 with a home run, 2 RBIs, scored 3 runs. You love to see it, right? I'm trying to stay positive with the whole thing. Yankees in the second half of the split squad. You lose that game 6-3. Joey Loperfido, thank God he's back. He had that dangerous crash in the wall last week, but he played, went 1 for 3 with a run scored. So good stuff there. Will Wagner, couple hits and an RBI. Arjun Amala played in the game. He had a hit. That's about it. Jake Bloss got the start. 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, had a strikeout, gave up 2 bombs. Not great. And also Amir Garrett, they brought him over. Wasn't great. Bullpen was not good in that game. You lose that game 6-3. And then a 1-1 tie on Saturday. Boy, that's a boring one against the Atlanta Braves. Pitching-wise, though, must have been good. Jacob Barnes, Brendan Little, Zach Pop. Is that Jack Walker? Josh Walker. Clean innings of work all around, and Mason Flaherty, again, inning and 2/3, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, had a strikeout. Just a quick thing, guys. When I mentioned to you guys that I got a chance to talk to Alan Roden, that same day where we talked post-game, we talked with the catcher, I can't remember his name now. Not Paolo Espino. Anyways, I asked him, who's the kind of, learning all these pitches really quick because he was fairly new to the organization. I asked him, who has the best stuff? Like, who's the trigger one to catch? Who do you like catching the most? And he actually mentioned Mason Flaherty. So, something to keep an eye on. But another inning and 2/3, hit, walk, strikeout. He was great last year for the Bisons. So, good stuff. Good stuff there. Now, offensively, what'd you get? Well, it was 1-1 tie, so not great. David Schneider had a couple hits. That's about it. All right, on to the next one. Today, where the Jays win 5-4 over the Phils, and there were some positive signs. Bo had a couple hits and hit a home run. Now, I want to talk about this for a brief minute. He turned on that inside pitch and drilled it out of the ballpark. Bo Bichette of last year didn't do that. Now, I know it's spring training. I'm not going to overdwell on it, but it's something to keep an eye on. I liked what I saw from Bo. I liked the approach. He had a couple more hits today. He's hitting .313 on the spring. Again, it is the spring, but you're liking what you're seeing. Dalton Varsho had another home run, and he went down there and got that thing. 1 for 2, with an RBI, obviously on the home run. Solo shot, run scored as well. Walked once in the game, so good day for Dalton. Vladdy went 1 for 2. Barger 1 for 2, not great defensively. And Stuart Baroa went deep to dead center field. So good stuff for him. Pitching wise, Max Scherzer got a second start with the Blue Jays, 3 2/3, allowed 1 hit. Solo shot to Cody Clemens, 4 punch outs again. Just a great day yet again for Max Scherzer, and you love it where you're seeing 2 starts in. Bowden Francis wasn't great. 3 hits, 3 runs, all of which were earned. Struck out 3, walked 2, allowed a home run. Not great. It's the spring. Jimmy Garcia, clean inning, couple strikeouts. Chad Green, clean inning, had a strikeout. You love what you saw there, and you win the game 5-4 against the Phillies. So the Jays went 5-3-1 in the week of spring training games. Does it mean anything? No. But it's 1 week closer to opening day on March 27th, all right? So I'm going to hear all your guys' thoughts in the comments. What do you think of the week? What are your upcoming thoughts on the next week? Or whatever you want to talk about Blue Jays-wise, fire it up in the comments below, all right? So you know what, guys? Thank you so much for listening and watching. I do appreciate it as always, because spring training games, preseason games, they are a grind to get through. But I'm here doing it as I do always, all right? So hit that like button if you guys enjoyed it. The subscribe button if you guys not done so already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the weekly games. And if I miss anything, let me know in the comments below. Twitter, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff is down there as well. So follow up there if you haven't done so already. And I will talk to you guys. Okay. Raptors edition, 6 o'clock tonight. Raptors in Orlando against the Magic. Leafs tomorrow night against the Sharks, 7:30 puck drop at Scotiabank Arena. Blue Jays wise, next Sunday, recapping this past week's games, or this upcoming week's games. All right, as we get that much closer to opening day on March 27th against the O's. All right, so thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And we're kind of jacked up. The baseball's getting closer and closer to being in full swing. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys then.